What's up everybody, and welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the 2024 Ford Ranger Raptor. This one's finished in shelter green. MSRP is $59,000. Let's take a full look now at the baby F150 Raptor and see what the Ranger has to offer. Underneath the hood of the all-new Ford Ranger Raptor, you're going to find that 3-liter twin turbocharged EcoBoost V6. This pumps out 405 horsepower with 430 pound-feet of torque. It's also paired to a 10-speed automatic transmission. The Ranger Raptor has a full-time 4-wheel drive system with locking front and rear differentials. Curb weight is around 5,300 pounds. It runs on a 20.3-gallon fuel tank, and you can expect 16 miles per gallon in the city with 18 out on the highway. 0 to 60 will come in around 5.3 seconds, topping out close to 107 miles per hour. And then overall payload capacity is 1,375 pounds, and then max towing capacity is about 5,500 pounds. The overall length is 210.9 inches with a wheelbase at 128.7. Width is 79.8, and then height is 75.9 inches. The Ranger Raptor is also pretty off-road capable with approach angle at 33 degrees, breakover angle at 24.2 degrees, ground clearance is 10.7 inches, and then departure angle is 26.4 degrees. This also features the forged aluminum double A-arm front suspension with Fox live valve 2.5-inch shocks, and then Watts Link rear suspension with trailing arms and Fox live valve shocks. Moving on to the exterior styling with the new Ford Ranger Raptor, you can definitely see all the F150 Raptor characteristics throughout this design. This looks like a substantial truck. Take a look at these really cool looking LED headlights with the LED daytime running light. You can say performance LED, you can see the double beam in them. A nice C shape with the grille sticking into the center, and then you can see the massive Ford logo written out. There's a forward facing camera, tons of mesh in the upper grille to provide tons of cooling to the engine. And then on the far right side, you're going to also see a set of LED fog lights. We have our bumper with forward facing parking sensors, more openings down below to provide cooling to the intercooler, and then you can see we have metal tow hooks and a nice metal skid plate down below. This has a great look, definitely looks like a Raptor. Super aggressive truck. I like how the hood cascades over the grille with sharp body lines cutting towards that windshield, and you can even see some trim pieces in the back finished in a gray color. So pretty cool looking front end, nice and aggressive. Sharp body lines on that front fender, just like the F150. You can see how it is somewhat of a wide body design with a nice set of fender flares that blend into that front bumper. At the side, this has a set of beadlock capable 17-inch wheels, nice satin black color along with the gray color surrounding it, and then a nice set of BF Goodrich all-terrain tires. You got another trim piece on the back side of the front fender, just like on the F150, and then a big set of powder-coated black running boards. Finished in a nice color with Raptor on the back. Got a few sharp body lines throughout the side profile, and then a set of power folding side mirrors. You got the LED turn signal on them and a side view camera, body color on the door handles as well, and then just a little bit of black surrounding the windows. Overall side profile being the Super Crew with a shorter bed, of course. This has nice proportions, really cool style overall, and I love how the bedside is also bulged outward just like the front. So you got that nice wide body Raptor appearance that we've grown accustomed to. Got the nice graphic as well, more of that plastic material throughout the fender flare and bedside lower portion, and a cool set of LED taillights. Really aggressive with them. You can even see the Raptor name written out. Ford badge right in the center, and then Ranger stamped into the lower portion of the tailgate. Down below, you can see more parking sensors, a nice design for the dual exhaust. You have more tow hooks, along with all your trailer hitch connections right in the center. Really cool looking truck, backup camera and grab handle up above. Definitely fits the Raptor name with an awesome style. Moving on to the key fob, we get lock, unlock, remote start, and panic, and then it even says Raptor on the backside. If I go ahead and lock the truck, you can just grab the door handle, it'll automatically unlock. We also have the keypad, which is a great touch that Fords will offer. You got a nice black leather interior with some orange color accents throughout it. Taking a look at the door panel finished in black, I especially like the materials. You have this really cool soft touch vinyl. You can see memory seating, lock and unlock, a nice texture, and then the smooth leather material with padding for the armrest. Release handles like an F150, then you have all those controls down below with extra storage. You're going to see Ford Performance written out on the door sill, power controls on the seats, and then the smooth black leather with the ultra suede. These are really comfortable. They look pretty good as well, and I love all the color accents. We got Raptor written up above with contrast stitching, pretty large bolsters, and then a nice perforated black leather steering wheel with the orange color. Now inside the Ford Raptor Ranger, keep my foot on the brake. We can go ahead and fire it up. Taking a look at the center gauge cluster, you're going to get the tach over on the left with your gear, speedometer on the right side, and you can configure just a little bit using this control panel. So if we go ahead and scroll up and down, you're going to see a few different things that are going to pop up, pretty similar to any other Ford screen, so basically what you would expect. And then if we take a look at the steering wheel, we have Ford logo in the center, controls on the left side for all the cruise control, a few Bluetooth and audio. Then we do have some shortcuts on the right side. You can easily toggle your suspension icon and change your damping setting. You can also do the same thing for steering, and then we even have the exhaust valve you're able to make louder and make quieter. There are a few other controls to control the screen, and then a nice set of aluminum paddle shifters. Really cool look and feel. We have the stalk on the right side for windshield wipers, turn signal over on the left, and then to the left of the steering wheel we have all the headlight controls, bed, dome light, just a tiny bit of storage, and then one of your cool looking air vents with a nice mesh like the front grille, more of this soft touch material. And then you can see speaker up above, just a tiny bit of storage, and then more of this really cool soft touch. If you press this button, you have an extra glove box up here, which is a really good touch to see. There's also hidden storage space down below, and then a lockable glove box down here. Taking a look at the screen, it's a nice vertical screen. You can see a few shortcuts in the top portion, checklist settings you're able to go to and see a few different items, convenience information. You have navigation, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, a few more settings you're able to take a look at and scroll through everything. And then down below you are going to get climate controls on the screen. So you can very easily adjust your temperature by scrolling that up and down. We have different zones we can play with as well. There are physical controls, which is a really good touch. So you can crank up the temperature. You have volume right in the center. Fan speed is this toggle right here. So kind of a nice blend between the two. Going into reverse, we can see the backup camera right now. Pretty nice HD view with guidelines. You also have your top-down view. You can toggle this, see a few different settings you're able to play with. You can adjust that front view there now, and then you can also see your trailer hitch. You have the trailer one as well for when you do have something hooked up. So pretty nice setup overall. Going back into park. Underneath that, you're going to get wireless charging, a few extra plugs, a little bit of storage all down below, nice little bit of leather and stitching, contrast stitching there, along with your two cup holders. And then we have our drive mode select. You can toggle this and even hold it. You may or may not be able to hear that, but we'll have a haptic feedback where it goes through all the drive modes. So you can go into the slippery, it'll basically cycle through all these different drive modes. So really cool to see all that along with different depictions, and of course it will adjust the four-wheel drive selection depending on what gear you're in. Down below we have a shortcut icon right here that will turn on a camera. You also have more information down below for the drivetrain, locking differentials, got that nice front view camera, which is really cool to see turning out for that. You have the parking icon, traction control, engine start stop, and some padding on the armrest and a nice size glove box down below. One last look at the interior. It's a pretty sweet interior, definitely much more sporty than the typical Ranger. Definitely adds to the Raptor characteristic. Up above we have a nice normal mirror, and then you can see a sunglass holder, extra auxiliaries if you want to add any winches or lights to this truck, and then garage door buttons underneath the sun visor. Moving on to the rear seat space, grabbing the door handle and opening it up. You're going to get a similar door panel back here with just a little bit of that smooth leather type material with padding on the armrest. Same grab handle, and then the seats will also have the ultra suede, the orange accents, and then the smooth black leather all throughout. Got some stitching up on the headrest. You can pull this down. You're going to get a nice armrest with two cup holders, and then up in front there is just a little bit of storage, a few plugs down below, and then storage behind these seats. From here you can grab the one strap on the other side and then pull the entire backrest downwards. It will fold flat with the seat headrest out of the way, but you're going to get just a little bit of storage, not really all too much, but you can use this for a nice storage area with it flat. Hopping into the backseat now with the Ford Ranger Raptor. This is pretty roomy back here. I'm actually sitting here pretty comfortably at 5'11". I have really good headroom, a couple inches, and even with the driver's seat at my height, got lots of room for my knees and feet. The recline angle is actually really good back here. Headrests do their job. Really no complaints aside from there's no air vents, which is a bit of a drawback. Seems like half the midsize trucks don't have air vents. Aside from no air vents, honestly, I have no complaints. This is pretty roomy back here. Onto the bed space, you can use the button on the key fob or just pop that. It's gonna soft open. This one's gonna get a nice spray and bed liner. There are also some power outlets over on this left side you can take a look at. So really good for utility. A few different tow hooks all throughout it to tie items down. But overall, pretty standard bed in here. Fender arches aren't really too much in the way. You're also gonna get a measuring tape on the tailgate and spots for a C-clamp. So if you wanna use this as your work truck during the week, you can still use the Raptor for work and of course some play. Doesn't weigh all too much, so we can easily close it up. All right, so setting off now. This is the most off-roading I can do in this, unfortunately. But this thing is quite a lot of fun. There is some power to this EcoBoost motor. It's really impressive. Drive modes all work pretty good. So let's go back into just normal mode. You can toggle manual and automatic with the shifter down below. So going back into drive now. And then if we tone down this exhaust into the quiet mode and make the steering wheel go into comfort, this is a really nice place to be. I found it to be incredibly comfortable. These seats are one of the most nice seats I've been in. I just fit in this truck so well. Great visibility all around, really easy just to see through this truck. Really no complaints at all driving it from the day to day. It is easy to operate in the normal settings. The suspension is so incredibly soft. I mean, this literally just plows through bumps, speed bumps, whatever you need to tackle, light off-road things, or of course heavy off-road, which hopefully we'll be able to take this to the trail soon. But I mean, this is just a nice truck to drive. Now, if we toggle this into the sport mode, of course the truck gets a little bit more aggressive. It'll be a little bit more aggressive with the shifting as well, and it will automatically put the modes into the more sport mode setting. I do love though how you can make the exhaust even louder if needed. And one thing cool, like in the rain, I was driving it yesterday, you can drift it a little bit and get the tail end out when you're in the rear wheel drive mode for the most part. Of course, if you go into Baja mode, it'll do the full all-wheel drive system just to make sure you have all the traction for those higher speeds Baja runs. But I like the tone of the exhaust as well. It definitely sounds like a V6. It's kind of nice to be in something that isn't a 4-cylinder. There's something positive about that. And then you can hear that blow-off valve as well. So let's go into Baja mode. We can just hold this and go into that mode. So this kind of is the full-on like off-road setting. The cameras will pop up. You're able to further adjust all of that as well. Yeah, this thing is pretty sweet to drive. But I don't think I really have any complaints with this from a normal car. Like, it just feels like a good mid-sized truck. It's got the space, it's got the size, it's really comfortable in the normal modes, but then you have the fun modes to just play with this like a little rally truck on the roads and all the off-road settings to go hit the trails and go on an adventure. So, I don't know, it's nice to drive. If we go into sport mode now, as we get some turns, this is kind of the sporty drive mode for the road. Steering wheel stiffens up, the dampers stiffen up as well. And you can actually play with this on the street. So it seems like a pretty good blend of giving you a normal, comfortable midsize truck, but also some street modes to have fun on the road, and of course the off-road things. All right, so my honest thoughts with the Raptor Ranger. I'm really impressed with it, honestly. I think they did a really good job just giving you a fun, nice, like cool truck in a midsize. The Raptor F150, of course, was the original. They carried on the Raptor name to the Bronco, and they did a great job on that as well. The little Ranger, honestly, not so little anymore. It feels like a substantial truck, and for those who just don't need a full size, I mean, this is a perfect size vehicle for the day-to-day family use adventures, especially off-roading through tight trails. And you got all the Raptor characteristics, like accelerating through those train tracks. I mean, how many vehicles can you accelerate through something like that? That breaks in half little compact cars left and right. So this thing is super cool. The drive modes are fun to play with too. I mean, you can literally just have a blast in this truck. The 10-speed also does a really good job delivering the power. It's pretty smooth. It doesn't really feel like there's a million gears. I wasn't too sure how I would feel. I'm not the biggest fan of 10 speeds overall, but in this truck it seems to do great when you are in drive. Some of my favorite things are just how nice it is sitting here. These seats are so nice. This is so comfortable, so supportive. I love the steering wheel. It feels small and feels aggressive in your hands. The paddles are cool. This truly has like the performance car vibes that I'm getting inside this truck. It's really fun to be in. And then when you play with the drive modes, I mean, literally this is just fun to rip through. In sport mode, go into manual. This kind of is the whole package. You know, the Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro is kind of the rival technically, although that's a lot more expensive. TRD Off-Road, you know, you're not going to get these paddle shifters and that type of street driving fun factor in anything else. So the Ford Raptor brand is the only brand like this that really has the on-road and off-road capabilities all wrapped into one. And it's cool how it has a V6. Obviously Toyota, you got a hybrid 4-cylinder turbo as the big boy engine, and that's basically the only true engine that's even close to this. Having a V6, this is definitely a smooth power delivery, and you have those turbos on top to give you some serious power. So I really appreciate the V6 in this. I know not everyone's a big fan of the 4 cylinders. I don't mind the 4-cylinder hybrid, that's pretty sweet, but there is something nice about just having power from a real engine with big turbos. So it's a really good blend for sure. I don't really have many downfalls. I'd say my complaints with this truck are just kind of superficial things. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of the screen. I feel like the icons are very small, so I really have to kind of look at it, figure out where I'm going. I love how there are physical climate controls. However, sometimes I've grabbed the volume icon to crank up the fan speed since I'm used to temperature. Fan speed is obviously a button rather than a dial. So I'm not the biggest fan. I wouldn't mind more of a square shaped screen like you get on the F150. I think that just fills out the dash a little bit better. When you have to go way down here on the screen, it's just kind of, you gotta take your eyes off the road quite a bit. The running boards, not the biggest fan of, just because they hit the back of my leg. They're not really useful. Even my wife, who's a lot shorter than me, she just hits them with her leg. So I would just swap them out for some rock rails. Other than that, the shifter, you kind of have to delicately place it. It's just a little interesting doing that. I've gone to park quite a few times when I'm trying to go into reverse, and I think it just automatically went into park. Just a little bit annoying when you're trying to change the gear, so you kind of got to be a little delicate, like I said. But minor things, really just, you know, you'll get used to certain things the more you drive it. Other than that, though, like I said, this thing is fun. You can just rip on it, play with it. And I like the sizing. You know, I love the F150 Raptor, but it's a big truck. I just don't need the space. You know, it's pretty much me and my wife in the car, so we just don't need that kind of space. So for me, you know, this is a much more doable vehicle for parking, garage, stuff like that. This is a very livable size point. And to truly get the Raptor aspects in the Ranger, I think they knocked it out of the park. There's nothing gimmicky about it. Some fake vents outside, but other than that, though, I mean, it's a pretty cool place to be. That is it then. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and stay tuned for plenty more content. I'll see you all in the next video.